And we'll be holy to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So now, today we have to continue Savatthi again. So yesterday we talked about Venerable Rahula and his arhatship. Today we have to talk about two Yakkhas. We call Kaloma and Suciloma. These two are Yakkhas. Also, they were our friends also. Here I should explain a few more things about the Pali word. Kara means gross. Loma means hair. Very gross hair. This is called Kara Loma. Then, why he has a very gross or very rough hair? In his past lives, he took Sangha oil without permission. Use it in his own body. That is also, that means he may have bad intention without permission. That's why he had to suffer in the hell. But he was reborn as a Yakkha. As a result of his past karma, his body was really ugly and also deformed. His skin also very rough, very gross, not very smooth like ordinary people. So that means when he frightens somebody, right, his skin will be maybe like a cross out, right? He want to frighten people. Okay, practically you may have seen some people, their hands are very rough, right? If they touch your skin, how do you feel? Right, very bad sensation, right? Gross. So he's also called Kara. Then another thing is because of skin hair, body, we can say the body hair, because of Kara Loma, gross hair also. Actually, the skin is also gross. Like you may have seen, here we also have the roof, right? In this monastery, we just use VPVC rope, right? Roof. So what about tin roof? Tin roof. You must see tin roof, right? So his skin will be like that. Maybe not so. In the case of like a roof, it will be very white, curvy. But in this case, maybe because of skin, it cannot be that curvy, right? And this is called Kara Loma. Okay, here we should talk about Sangha oil. Actually, oil is also a kind of medicine. If we accept oil, within 7 days we can consume. After 7 days, we are not allowed to consume that oil anymore. But if we use for external, like applying in the body or that kind of thing, it will be allowable. So for Sangha properties, of course, that one also belongs to him because he's also one of the members of Sangha. But it doesn't mean he can use whenever he like. Right? So that means, okay, here we have many Sangha properties. We are all also bhikkhu. Since this Sangha property we can use, but it doesn't mean we can use as we like. There might be Sangha agreement. So if we use something improper, we can say misusing Sangha property or wasting Sangha properties, there will be side effects. So you may have known offering to Sangha is more beneficial, right? Sangha property is more beneficial. For bhikkhu, it's very difficult to manage. For devotees, they have great benefits. Right? For bhikkhus, very difficult to manage. This is about Kaloma. Now we have to move another one, is it? Suciloma. Actually, Suciloma also, we can say, Suci means needle. Loma means hair. That means his body has like a needle. Very sharp and very gross. That is his, that's also his agusala kamma. Okay? So here I'm trying to draw as much as I can. Right? So Suciloma also have one of the bad kamma in the past. That is it. One donor offer very good carpet in the monastery. So without washing his feet, he stepped on it. Then this is also one of the problem, right? So that means he misused other people's donation. Good quality, because of his footstep, it became dirty. Because of this agusala kamma, he was born in the hell also. After releasing from hell, he was born as a Yakkha. When he was born in Yakkha, his body hair is like a needle. I mean, maybe worse than previous one, right? Suciloma is, Kaloma is just a gross. This one is like a needle. Very bad already, right? So this is also one of his bas agusala. Okay, one more thing. Actually, he lived somewhere around Gaya, now Gaya, right? Around Gaya. Actually, the Buddha go to Gaya. Now, at that time we can say Gaya, right? To deliver discourse to Suciloma. So the Buddha came to know he had potentiality to attain Satta-visuddhi path and fruition knowledge in that very day. So we have already mentioned special Buddha's quality, special Buddha knowledge before, right? So the Buddha also bring his bow and a robe or the one to Suciloma's dwelling place. So he was sitting in his place. Then two Yakkhas, Kaloma and Suciloma, saw him, saw the Buddha. Suciloma said, sorry, Kaloma said, this is a bhikkhu. This is a samana, right? But Suciloma said, no, it must be fake. He must be fake bhikkhu. Okay, let me test. So he approached the Buddha. Approach Buddha means not normally approaching. He trying to close to the Buddha very, very much to frighten the Buddha because his body is a needle. You can also imagine, right? If somebody had this kind of skin or this kind of body hair, then close to you, very near, right? What you may be scared, right? Now he approached the Buddha very closely. The Buddha is very calm. He also say, ascetic, are you afraid of me? He had this kind of question. Now the Buddha said, I'm not afraid of you. But your touch is a harsh and unpleasant. I mean, he also touched the Buddha. So although it's unpleasant, it cannot make the Buddha mind shaken because no more anger, right? That's why no more fear. Then he also say, okay, now I will ask you a question. If you cannot answer, I will control your heart and I will take into pieces, I will throw away. He frightened Buddha again by what? When he say, I will ask, he also say, right? Let me, Buddha say, okay, so if you want to ask, you can ask. But he didn't know, he cannot harm the Buddha like this, right? But anyway, he asked question. Here we should start. His question. Ragoja, dosoja, kudonidana, arati, rati, lomahanso, kudoja. Kudo, samudhaya, manovidaka, kumaraka, danga miwo sajanti. This is it, the question. So he asks, from where do lusts arise? From where do hatreds arise? From where come discontent? We can say, from where we can say delight and fear arise. So from where unwholesome thoughts, thoughts arise, we can say, right? Thoughts arise. Also from where disturb the mind, like a village boy throwing around, capture crows, capture crow me a kind of birds, right? This is his question. Okay, here we should elaborate one by one. Raga. Mostly we understand raga as a lobha or greed. It will be synonym. But since we use different Pali words, we have to introduce different way. Raga means stain. In Pali we call the root is a ranja. Ranja means stain. For example, we have white clothes. When white clothes stain blue, it becomes blue. When white clothes stain black, it becomes black. When white clothes stains yellow, it becomes yellow. That's why raga, mostly we translate as a lust in English. Then it will stain the mind. It will change the color of the mind. This is called raga. Now dosa. Mostly whenever we talk about dosa, you may understand English word hatred. This is a very common translation. So if we say displeasure, it will be a little bit closer to dosa. Mentally, we feel something discomfort. So when we say dosa, we also have like a rising dosa or falling dosa, two types. For example, when we get angry, this is called rising dosa. You become very active, very strong. So then your mind also become very strong. This is called dosa. Another this is a fallen dosa. That means not very strong, not very active. For example, worry. When you worry about somebody or something, your mind is not very active, right? Worry. So not so strong. You become weak naturally. Then similarly, we also have lamentation, crying. When we lose something valuable, we may feel sad. Sometimes we not only sad, we also cry for it. This is also called dosa. Despair, in Bali we call ubayasa. This is also dosa. So we have one simile of soka, parideva, and ubayasa. Soka means grief. Parideva means lamentation. Ubayasa means despair. The simile is if we boil oil in the pot or in the pan. When you start cooking the oil, there will bubble, right? When they hit it, it will produce the bubble. So this is the first step. When it becomes very strong, the bubble becomes also stronger, bigger. It will overflow. If we cook very long time, it will dry up naturally. So soka is like a bubble of cooking oil in the very beginning when we cook. Like overflowing is like a parideva. It becomes very big bubble. You cannot control your mind anymore. You cry. Ubayasa is like drying up. After that, no more energy. All these are called dosa. Now we also have fear. We may have different types of fear. Fear also a kind of dosa. When we have fear, how do you feel? Your mind is negative, right? Actually, dosa also any dosa is always negative. So that means we have many different types of fear. For example, when seeing fearful things, hearing fearful sound, we may have fear. We may scare. This one is called aramana bhaya. Because we just experience some fearful object. That's why we are afraid of it. Then we also have another type. Chittudarasa bhaya. Chittudarasa bhaya means mind-made fear. Chitta udarasa, right? Chitta udarasa means mind-made fear. For example, you may think about the ghost. Okay, now in the dark, now in the already dark, right? You don't have a touchlight. You may go back to your room. You may think about ghosts on the way. Maybe at the time, you may look around. Some of the trees are shaken by the wind. You may think, oh, this is also ghost, right? Mind-made fear. So this is also called fear. See, these two are not quite good, right? Also, you can say a kind of dosa. Now we have another type, sahuttapa, moral fear. This one's a wholesome. So we always talk about uttapa many times. So here I will not elaborate that one. Okay, now the last one is about jnana bhaya. When we say jnana bhaya, that means the fear produced by knowledge, or the fear that associated with knowledge or wisdom. That is actually called samvega, sense of urgency. I mean, sense of urgency, samvega and jnana bhaya are the same. So now here dosa, another name of dosa. Fear also one of the dosa. Anger, hatred, these are also dosa. So as we have already mentioned, soka, grief, parideva, lamentation, upayasa, despair. All these are also called dosa. So where dosa come from? Here this kind of question. Another arati rati. Arati also means discontent. Arati also can mean not delight or not happy. Rati means delight. So when we talk about Mara's army, we have already mentioned, if we cannot delight in seclusion, forest monastery, or in meditation, this is also called arati. If we can delight in like sensual pleasure, that can already also not recommendable, right? Mind inclined to sensual pleasure. This is also improper delight. This is also called rati. So where this arati and rati come? Then lomahanso kudoja. Lomahando means hair rising. Now it was a goosebump, right? Now there's also goosebump. Hair rising. So that means sometimes when you have too much joy, you also feel hair rising, right? But when you have a lot of fear also, when you have very strong fear also, hair rising. This is called lomahanso. Now why lomahanso, right? Actually, here in the case of lomahanso, not because of PT. When we have rapture also, we have lomahansa, hair rising. When we have fear also, lomahansa. But here in the case of lomahansa, in this sutta, it means fear. So kudo samuthaya manovittaka. Here we say manovittaka, thoughts. Mano means mind, vittaka means thoughts. Where does thoughts arise? Then also mention in the case of thoughts, here it means disturbing thoughts. Disturbing thoughts, right? Then it will disturb the mind, this kind of thought. So Kumaraga, Danga miwa sarjanti. They have a Danga mi crow. Miwa iwa, that means like a crow. Also, what's a janti? That means release. So that means some small boy, little boy, they will catch the crow, a crow. They were tied up here and there. Right? At that time, it will be struggling too much, right? So when they release, it will fly very, very far. So similarly, now we may have all the things here mentioned, right? Raga, dosa, also God, arati, rati, lomahansa, right? It will fly very far, very high. Then it will arise. Let me hit with very strong power. So he asked, where Kudo? Kudoja, where is it rise? Right? Then the Buddha also answered, Ragoja, Dosoja, Ito Nidana, Arati, Rati, Lomahanso, Itoja, Ito Samutaya Manowiteka, Kumaraka, Dengomi was a Jandi. So here, translation, right? The Buddha replied, Raga and dosa, everything comes from this body and the mind. So all the things come from this body and the mind. So another thing is we always say like a body and a mind, right? Also can say like a nama-rupa, right? Nama-rupa. So all the mental phenomena are born from craving, tanha. So you can also see something. Okay, you may have seen some banyan tree. All the roots are coming down from the tree, right? You may have seen this kind of banyan tree. There's also roots on the ground. Many roots also come down from the tree. You may have seen this kind of banyan tree. Hanging, right? Hanging roots. So if the roots touch the ground, it becomes another trunk. It becomes big. It becomes wider and wider. So similarly, craving make everything wider and wider. Then, okay, similarly, rago, this is also actually different term. Craving also, we could translate as a tanha, right? Raga also actually similar, lobha, the same. Those also come from craving also sometimes. Right? You have very strong attachment to your property, somebody take it, you're gonna bear, get angry. Okay, practically, in any community, many people are fighting for earning. Right? For earning, they fight each other. They quarrel for earning. Because of lobha, they have to fight. They have very strong competition, also very strong hatred, right? Similarly, arati rati. When we have very strong lobha, we may delight in sensual pleasure. We may not delight in meditation and seclusion. So the Buddha also say the same. All the manovidaka thoughts that can disturb mind also arises depending on body and the mind. There's also another explanation here. Like in Bali we call malua, a kind of creeper. It wraps around the tree. Finally, that creeper also can destroy the tree. Actually, I have seen this kind of creeper in Vietnam. Myanmar also we have that one. In Myanmar, we have a yellowish color. In Vietnam, I don't remember what kind of color. Just put on the tree. Then this creeper will grow naturally. And it will cover all over the tree. So leaves and branches cannot be touched by the sand. The tree will die gradually. This is called Malua creeper. In Myanmar, we have this kind of tree, this kind of creeper, right? Okay, there are some creeper, it will rot the tree, go up. After some times, it will kill the tree also. This is just an example, right? Similarly, there are many defilements. Tightly entangled living beings in sensual pleasure, like a creeper. So that defilements will kill living beings. That defilement will, right? We're going to destroy living beings. So that one arises in this body and the mind, like a creeper. This also destroys this body and the mind. Okay, the main thing is that when we talk about sensual pleasure, it should be greed, right? Lova most of the time. So the Buddha also explain many other things in detail. Okay, the main thing is if we can overcome or abandon the defilements, then we can also we will be able to cross the samsara. If we cannot overcome or abandon these defilements and attachments, we cannot attain nibbana. The Buddha also give this kind of instruction to Suciloma. This is his answer to the question. Okay, now here we should elaborate a few more. The springing forth of thoughts. Right? So in the simile mentioned, a boy capture or arrested, crow and release. Right? It will fly very high naturally. So actually that means that one will make Suciloma understand clearly. So okay, for example, here we have many flying birds, right? When you close them, they were flying away. They were not allowing you to catch them. They are scared of people, right? Only some birds, they are okay. Although you close to them, they were not flying. Mostly if we capture or catch some of the wild animal, they will struggle a lot to release. This is normal. So that means they can fly very high, right? After releasing, released by the buoyant capture. So here we also understand the thoughts mean, it also can be like a restless thoughts, aimless thoughts. Just disturbing the mind, it cannot improve the practice. Now here they are arising from the self. Okay, here we have to understand a few things. Rising from the self means rising from atta. Okay, we can also say one more thing. Whenever we say atta, it also can be atta deity, wrong view. Together with atta deity, there also can be lobha together, craving. So that means all the things we mentioned, like all the defilements we have already mentioned, right? In the list, it just mentioned very few: lobha, dosa. Also, we can say manovittaka. For already, this comes from Tanna, very clear. So that means only a few things: unwholesome thoughts, or maybe like we can also say disturbing thoughts, and also lobha and dosa, right? These are the key in this sutta, in the stanza. So although it just mentioned only a few unwholesome mental factors, we can also understand all types of defilements. All the defilements arises depending on atta, right? Okay, now another one. They are widespread attachment to sensual pleasure. So that means all the unwholesome mental state we mentioned, they are widely spread. Right? Also, attachment to sensual pleasure. Okay, so for example, like arati, no delight in meditation. About this also everywhere, right? For now here, all of you are yogi. Okay, you are very inclined to meditate. Then I have already said a few times here, right? Many of your friends will think you are crazy or silly, right? You are meditating without any money. So their mind were inclined to sensual pleasure, your mind were inclined to meditation. So most of the people, then their mind were inclined to sensual pleasure. This is the nature of mind. Okay, another thing, when we know the original source, like we can say here, defilements, right? Defining the source of all the things. Then the Buddha also taught Suciloma. One who truly understands this mental impurity, also know their sources, also can remove all the defilements completely. Okay, here we should say the source. I already mentioned lobha and ditthi. Okay, the cause of lobha is a desirable object, right? When we see desirable object, there will be lobha, greed. The cause of dosa is an undesirable object. Okay, these are separated individual, right? Then we get the specific causes. They also have a general cause. That is ayunaso manasikara, unwise attention. When we have unwise attention, then there will be lobha, there will be dosa. Okay, if we combine, in the case of lobha, desirable objects, ayunaso manasikara, true, right? In the case of dosa, undesirable objects, ayunaso manasikara, true. This way cause lobha and dosa. These are the sources. If we can know the sources, we can also change. We can also subside or abandon defilements. Similarly, we may have arati already. This is a common sensual pleasure. Then, okay, we have already mentioned something about atta. Atta means deity, wrong view, right? So when we talk about wrong view, we can also understand two reasons. The first one is in Pali we call paradogosa. Paradogosa means listening to others. Now in modern society, you may have known propaganda, right? They repeat the same information. People become very familiar. So wrong things, right? Wrong information pass to your ear many times. If you have to listen to the same wrong idea very long time, you may think it's the truth, right? This is propaganda. So in the case of DT, paradox is also one of the reasons. We listen to somebody or we have to listen to the same information many times. Finally, we think this is a right. Although we hold wrong view. This is the one thing. Another thing is unwholesome as usual. We ourselves have wrong or unwise attention. Okay, if we summarize for all the defilements, there can be external causes, there can be internal causes. Like for example, designable objects, undesirable objects, also listening to the others, these are external. Internally, we ourselves accept that one. Oh, this is desirable, this is undesirable. Oh, that kind of idea is right. Then we may have defilements. Actually, if we analyze lobha, it will be very wide also. Right? Last year, you may remember, I have one example. Not last year, maybe 2 years ago, about lobha, right? Lobha is like a glues. You may have seen glues, right? Stick together. This is called glues. Then a few years ago, I think the first year I talk about that one maybe. When we talk about lobha, okay, like a monkey catcher, monkey hunter. Then you catch monkey, but not that easy to catch. So they make special glues, apply on the branches of the tree. Monkey will go here and there. So step on the branch with one leg, it cannot move. To release from this, he step with another leg. So both the legs stick together, cannot move anymore. Then to release, he push the branch with his hand, one of the hands. Hand also stuck there. So 2 legs and 1 hand, right? Okay, only 1 hand remain. He trying to push to release, right? The same. Another hand also stick there. Cannot move anymore. Which one remain? Only head. He push the branch with his head. His head also stuck there. Cannot move. This is the nature of tanha. We're trying to push, but it became closer. Push and become closer, right? Finally, cannot move anymore. So this is also one of the simile about tanha. Okay, for about dosa also, I think last year I talked about meditation note, right? At the time I explained anything about mental fetters. I also mentioned about Akatawatu. You may remember that one. Some old yogi may remember. Many of them are new, they may not know. Right? In the case of dosa also, we have Akatawatu. It can be present, past, future, 3, right? Okay, we should say 1, the first one first. That one is our beloved one. If somebody discharges or bully our beloved one, then we also get angry, right? We dislike that kind of person. It can be present, past, future. In the past, he may disturb. We still remember now. We still feel discomfort. In the present, the bullying, right? Now we also feel unhappy. Of course, we also can sense he or she will disturb in the future. We may not feel discomfort, we may not feel comfort, right? We may get angry. Okay, now another one is our enemies. If somebody have our enemies, we dislike that kind of people. So that is why we can also understand he maybe he have my enemy in the past. He's having my enemies now in the present. And he will have my enemy in the future. Now we may have discomfort. We may dislike that kind of people. They're also one of the reasons of anger. Another one is we ourselves. We ourselves mean he disturbed me in the past. He's disturbing me now. Also, he's planning to disturb me in the future. We have discomfort in our mind. We may hate that kind of people. Okay, finally, we call in Bali Atthana Gopa. We can also say unreasonable anger. Unreasonable anger means, for example, now raining, right? When raining, you feel discomfort, you get angry, but you cannot stop raining, right? This is unreasonable anger, right? And similarly, when too hot also, you may get angry. Why is it too hot? But you cannot control that one. It's too cold, you may get angry. Now in Himalaya, it's also been too snowy also possible, right? But in Dhammadada, no snow, as far as I know. Right? It's too snowy, you may get angry, possible. Then, anyway, these are the conditions for anger. Then, the main thing is, all the defilements have many other reasons also. Right? Many other reasons. But we don't have for example, in the case of mana, right? We can say comparison. There's a big problem, right? Comparison. Compared to somebody, I'm not quite good, I'm smarter, we are equal, that kind of mindset, right? This is also mana. Similarly, in the case of vicikiccha, doubt, you have more curiosity than practice. Right? There are many people, they are curious, no practice. The more you analyze, the more you investigate, the more you are curious, the more you have doubt. You're going to overcome it. Right? So doubt is like a standing in the crossway. In the middle of crossway, you are standing, right? Crossroad, we can say crossroad, right? You are standing on the crossroad. 4 directions. You don't know where to go. This is the nature of vicikiccha. Everything will be unclear. You cannot make any decision. You get confused. Right? So that means when we have defilements, we lost our way. We cannot improve. That is why the Buddha recommended to remove their sources. Right? We have to know that. Another thing, before removing, we must know the source, the causes, right? If we don't know, we cannot remove also. We must know, we must find the cause. If we can know it, we can also remove the source, the causes. We can also remove the defilements. If we cannot remove, we cannot cross over the danger of flood of samsara. Thus, samsara is very extremely difficult to cross, right? So we have already mentioned before, when we talk about Himavata Sutta, there is similar statement here. Even recently, I have talked about cross over the flood. So you may remember I also give simile of ocean or sea. Although the ocean is very deep, there's a ground, there's a bottom, there's also beach and a shore. But in the case of samsara flood, no bottom. Although you dive into ground, you're gonna find the ground. Also, if you swim also, you're gonna get to the beach or shore. That is called samsara flood. So if we can completely destroy or remove or abandon defilements, we can cross over the flood naturally. If we can cross over the flood of samsara, we can also say we are liberated, vimutti, free from all suffering, no more rebirths or no more suffering. So the Buddha delivered this discourse to Suciloma. He could attain Satta-visuddhi and fusion knowledge. So this didn't happen in Gaya. So now when we go to book Gaya, we have to find where the Buddha delivered the sutta, right? Maybe if we ask local people, they will know. Right? I have been to book Gaya 2 times, but different knowledge. The first time, we just follow tourist guide. Second time, I'm going to retreat in Balakat, and afterwards I just go to Bugaya. Luckily, one of my students live there. He's a local. He knows more than others. He follow me. Because he follow us. Right? Explain everything. Like for example, like a Sujata or foreign place, right? Now we have statues, right? And they say, this is not real place. Real place is the village. And Surya also offer grass, right? He also say, no, real place, no, not that place. Real place in the village. And now many houses, if they make this kind of statue, they might remove houses, right? That's why they make there, just for show. Like Mucha Linda, right? Mucha Linda also, they say, this is not original place. Original is also one village already. A little bit far from, or now this one is a little bit near to Mabodhi temple. The original Mucha Linda is a little bit far from Mabodhi temple. Right? Okay, this means Buddha delivered this discourse in, okay, we can find this discourse in Samyutta Nikaya. Okay? You can find this sutta in Samyutta Nikaya. So maybe if you have been to India, okay, we have India Yogi. Right? We can go to India, right? Check where Buddha delivered Suciloma Sutta, this sutta. Where Suciloma live also we should find, right? So I can search in the commentary all the sources, but local people must search the location exactly. Okay, so today I should stop here, right? So tomorrow I should continue talking about Kapilavatthu. So 2 more days, right? It will be only about Kapilavatthu. When I search sutta from delivered in Kapilavatthu, it's too much. I'm gonna finish all sutta in 2 days. Right? Okay, one more thing. We always talk about Dakkhina Vibhanga Sutta briefly when Mahavajjapati called me offer a robe to the Buddha. Right? This one also delivered in Kapilavatthu. I already mentioned Maharavada Sutta. Also Kapilavatthu, right? Already mentioned that one. So I don't need to talk about this one. Like for about other story, like other Jataka story, like Bosandara Jataka, Dhammapala Jataka, Chanakindri Jataka, these are delivered in Kapilavatthu. We already briefly introduced that one. So for Digha Nikaya, we already mentioned Mahasamaya Sutta briefly. So we don't need to talk about this one. There's also another part from Digha Nikaya, a part of Sakkapanya Sutta. Also, that also happened in Kapilavatthu. Then in Majjhima Nikaya also we have few sutta. For example, like Tekina Vibhanga Sutta, I already mentioned. Another one is Matupindika Sutta. There will be another one. We haven't explained that one. Okay, the main thing is here, when we talk about Mahanama, the king. So the Buddha delivered many discourses to Mahanama, and then this sutta will be enough for 2 days. So you have already known many of second princesses and princes are ordained. We are ordained, right? Now, how many Khatyas will be ordained? Now, Yasavati already ordained, right? Then, what about other? Not many, nobody here also, right? So, now for new meditator, they may not have been to Kapilavatthu Palace or Nigarama Monastery, right? So when you have been there, then I will give you the notes. Okay, I have a note around 35 pages. The collections of Sutta delivered in Kapilavatthu. They are short notes. I mean, it doesn't mean detailed Sutta note, right? And I will share later. When you go there, you can read by yourself, right? I will just teach. I will just give only some of Sutta useful for meditators. Okay, I just start here, right? May you all be able to practice 3 trainings, and may you all be able to realize final cessation and not suffering. Okay, before starting question, right? Last night he asked question about 6 elements, right? Actually, by mistake, I misunderstand. I misheard 6. One element. I have this kind of misunderstanding. If we say 6 elements, Prithvi, Apo, Tejo, Vaya, you already know, right? What the earth, water, fire, and wind. This is very clear. So in previous sutta, we already mentioned Akasa Dhatu, 5, right? Okay, the last one will be consciousness. Altogether 6. Okay? Okay, now question and answer.
Dear Sayadaw, for those who have enough parami to attain jhana, magga, or phala in this very life, however, they don't take that chance to practice to attain in this life. So how about in the next life in samsara, whether such kind of parami level will be remain, decline, or subside?
Okay. Here we should understand a few things about Parami, right? So Parami means making ourselves better. Okay? We can say Parami is making ourselves better. In Pali, Paramanam kamma. Paramana means noble people, good people. Kamma means action. The actions of good people is called parami. So, whenever there is a kamma, kusala, akusala kamma, we have to think about which one is heavier. Right? So that means if we are fulfilling parami, we are doing noble actions. We're trying ourselves to be noble, better. So sometimes we don't do better. We don't make ourselves better. We just make ourselves worse and worse. In this case, kusala, akusala will become stronger, right? So okay, parami will remain parami. But when is the gift is the result, it will be different. Okay, another thing. When we are going to decide kamma, okay, the kamma is a result. There can be some other conditions. Okay, here we should say sampati and vipatti. Sampati means achievement, vipatti means failure. Okay, for example, gati sampati, destination achievement. Also, we can also say gati vipatti, the failure of destination. That means when we are born in good destination, we have more opportunity to fulfill parami. So making many mistakes or many akusala, we cannot be reborn in good destination. If we failure of destination, we cannot fulfill parami. Right? Okay, there will be some conditions. Some animals are very close to human being. For example, here we have a dog in this monastery. Very clever. Right? That means they are close to people. Also, they live in the monastery. They see bhikkhu and sayalis, a meditator. They may have seen meditating, offering everything, right? We cannot know how they feel in their mind. Okay, the main thing is among the gati vipatti also, some people have maybe more favor, more opportunity to have wholesome mind. Some living beings, they don't have wholesome minds, right? It can be different. It depends on environment also. If we say, okay, this we can say gati sampati, gati vipatti, right? Another one is upati sampati, upati vipatti. Upati means appearance. We're going to like a figure of people. That means, okay, there are some people, they are appearance good looking. It doesn't mean he must be very handsome or she must be very beautiful, not like that, right? Although not very beautiful, not very handsome, when seeing that kind of people, we can feel peaceful. Good appearance. There are some people, they don't have good appearance. That means people give different favor to that kind of people. Right? Somebody has good looking, they will favor more. Somebody has bad, not good looking, they will not favor that much. So after gati, we should think about upati, appearance. Another one is kala sampati, kala vipatti, time failure, time achievement. So that means, for example, recently we have a COVID-19 outbreak. Everybody has to suffer, right? Kala vipatti. So you cannot earn very well. You are not sure you can survive or not. At the time, you have less opportunity to do kusala. Right? So then kala sampati, kala vipatti, it make your kusala quality. Okay, now the last one. Payoga sampati, payoga vipatti. If we say payoga effort or means, then if we have right efforts, then kusala kamma will more favor. If we have bad efforts, maybe wrong efforts, akusala kamma will be more favor. Okay, now here I mentioned samadhi vipatti, right? So when we have samadhi, kusala kamma will favor more. When we have vipatti, akusala kamma will favor more. Then in the case of parami, we have to think about this samadhi vipatti, right? So all the parami cannot be wasted, but if yoga vipatti, that parami cannot be very strong to give a result. Okay? Okay, now this one. Okay. Okay.
Thưa Ngài, trong thời thiền 2 đến 3 tiếng con có thể chú tâm trên đề mục chừng 70%. Thi thoảng có phóng tâm nhưng con quay lại đề mục được luôn. Và con cũng hay thấy ánh sáng nhưng con không để ý nó. Nên nó cũng không hề rõ ràng và mạnh như lúc trước con còn mong cầu và hoan hỷ với nó. Nó có rồi đi lúc nào con cũng không hay. Con không biết như thế là con đang tiến bộ hay thụt lùi nữa. Tiếp theo con nên tác ý thế nào trong thời thiền ạ? Sau đó in the 2 or 3 hour section, I could focus on the breath about 70%. Sometimes there are wandering thoughts, but I could come back quickly, and I also usually see the light, but I didn't pay attention to the light. Then I don't know much about it. Compare with before when I have the expectation and have a pity with the light. Now sometimes the light gone, but I still don't know. I'm not aware of it, so I don't know with this state of the mind. Am I improving or am I declining? And how should I pay attention in this section?
Okay, if you can know breathe in 70% or something, right? That's the good result already. So for about improvement, you have to think about 2 things: quality or quantity. If we say quality, then your concentration quality becomes stronger and then better, not as usual. That means the quality, right? The quantity, you can sit longer. Right? For example, now 1 hour, you can focus 70%. Then, okay, if you can say 1.5 an hour, if you can do 75% or 70%, then also your concentration power will be a little bit stronger, right? So it comes from skill. So as long as you can know breathe in, you can expect improvement. Okay? Okay.
I'd like to clarify one point about dosa. So dosa is hatred, displeasure, mental discomfort, and rising, falling dosa. So the mention mind become very active, strong, and then also so the mention then worry. Mind is not strong, become weak naturally.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So at the best, we can say, when you have a dosa, hatred or anger is active, right? So when you have a worry, the passive. Okay.
How to understand the weak mind, Sayadaw?
Okay. Okay. When you get angry, your body becomes stronger, right? Right? Your body becomes stronger, right? When you have a worry, your body becomes weaker. Right? Because it's mind make this kind of problem. When you have fear, also your body becomes weaker. Because this is a mind produced problem, right? Okay. Anything? Oh. Okay. Okay. Okay.
One name Shadow. one of yogi asks few questions. For the first and second lotus, who just listen Dhamma talk and attain Magga-phala, for them no need nimitta, no jhana, straightly Magga-phala. One question. And another for sukkha-vipassana, they also don't need nimitta, jhana, straightly Magga-phala.
Okay. Big question, right? Actually, okay, they may not attain jhana. It doesn't mean they don't see nimitta also. Okay? In the case of like the first lotus and second lotus, it depends on their parami. For example, in the case of like Venerable Sariputta, Venerable Mahamoggalana, right? They also attain together with psychic power. In the case of Venerable Sariputta, right? He attained arhatship, listening to the discourse, together with the psychic power and the analytical knowledges. So here in this case, they can attain very quickly. It doesn't mean they don't have nimitta or they don't have jhana. Right? Venerable Sariputta is very clear, he has jhana. He has psychic power. Also, he has very samvila, very clear, right? Without nimitta, you cannot have asset concentration. This year, I didn't talk about nimitta that much. Last year, when I show, you may remember 3 types of nimitta, 3 types of bhavana. So for about nimitta, many people are very familiar. Brikama nimitta, Ugha nimitta, Pratipaka nimitta. For about bhavana, maybe very few people have that kind of knowledge, right? So we have Brikama bhavana, Bhavana, Apana bhavana, 3 types. So in the stage of Brikama nimitta and Ugha nimitta, at the time, Brikama bhavana, 2 nimitta, 1 bhavana. So, okay, when we talk about Pratipaka nimitta, 2 bhavana, Upachara bhavana and Apana bhavana. So that means without seeing nimitta, you cannot attain asset concentration, you cannot attain jhana. Okay, one more thing here. Sukkha-vipassaka, they don't attain jhana. It doesn't mean they don't have nimitta. Right? For example, 4 elements as a foundation, their nimitta will be not so strong as anapanasati. Because anapanasati can attain nirvana, right? As can attain jhana. So there will be very strong brightness. There can be very strong transparent body or translucent body. Then when it becomes very bright and very stable or translucent, they can start descending space elements there. And they can start seeing rupa kalapas. Then they can continue use vipassana, right? Okay. Then whatever attainments, it will just follow the order of practice. Since their thought process are very fast, they can practice very quickly. But then listening, practicing together, that's why they can attain very fast. It doesn't mean, right, they don't have inside knowledges or, right? Like we can say 7 purifications, right? I mean, whoever attain path and physical knowledge, they have to go through 7 purifications. They have to go through all the inside knowledge step and step. That is why they all have nimitta. Okay? You know, anything? Okay, now one more question out there.
Sayadaw, last night Sayadaw have said about anapanasati at the subtle stage. In this time, can practice vipassana for the subtle breath. So may Sayadaw explain more about that?
Actually, in this case, we cannot say what Satta-visuddhi you can practice vipassana, right? Okay, in Majjhima Nikaya, it mentioned about Satta breaths. I mean, different conditions have different Satta breaths in mention. For example, for the beginner, in the very beginning, breathing will be very gross. After a few minutes, a few hours, the breath will become Satta. This is also called Satta breath, right? This is an ordinary Satta breath. Okay, similarly, before attaining jhana, you may have asset concentration. Okay, practically in our practice, when you can focus on the nimitta, you don't know breathing anymore, right? When you know breathing, then your nimitta will be a little bit weak. Okay, the main thing is, in the asset concentration, it will become subtler, it will become very subtle than before, more subtle than before, right? Then, in the absorption state, the first jhana, compared to first jhana and upachara will be gross, first jhana will be more subtle. Similarly, second jhana and upachara, third jhana and upachara, fourth jhana and upachara, right? Every single step, it becomes very subtle. This is for samatha practice. In Vipassana practice, also it mentioned more in detail. Okay, there are a few steps in Rupa meditation, according to Majjhima Nikaya. The first one is Mahabhuta, Dhatu Parikaha, right? When you are descending 4 elements, your breathing will be subtle. So after descending Mahabhuta, you can also continue Ubhada Rupa, the right materialities. At the time, more subtle than 4 elements. Then the next steps, Sakala Rupa Parikaha, you have to descend all types of materialities. At the time, more subtle than before. This is a Rupa meditation. But similarly, we may go to Rupa to Nama, right? So when you start descending Nama, it will be cross. Also, combine Nama and Rupa together, it will become more subtle. Okay, this is it for about nama-rupa parikaha, descending nama-rupa. So when we are going to practice Paccaya parikaha jnana, cause and effect relationship, it becomes more subtle. So every single step of inside knowledge, it becomes very subtle. Right? So this kind of thing mentioned in Majjhima Nikaya about subtle breath. That's why under the name of Pasambayanga Sankharam, it also includes both samatha and vipassana. Right? This is it. Just we can say includes. It doesn't mean you can practice for such a breath. Okay? Okay.
So, Sayadaw, about Sangha property, like we know if Sangha relinquish some item, then we can use. But in case of when we realize later that we're still using or we finish using that item, so in that case, what can we do, Sayadaw?
Somebody properties?
Like Sangha property.
Sangha properties.
Yeah, we realize later that we finished using it already or we're still using.
Mm-hmm. See, this is okay. It depends on what kind of thing, right? For example, something like for example, although you use, you're gonna spoil it, right? You're gonna destroy it. And this thing you can return, it's okay, no problem, right? Something you're already destroying, or in this case, return the price or replace. It's okay. Okay.
Dear Sayadaw, as far as I remember, in the chapter 9 of Abhidhamma Sangha, mentioned that there are two types of yogi who can attain the magga phala. The first one is practice samatha and then vipassana. The second one is practice bare vipassana only. So it is any sutta or in the Buddha time mentioned many bhikkhu or people they attain enlightenment by practicing vipassana only, and how's that way?
Actually, there are many arhats like this, right? So if we go and read the sutta, the many sutta were mentioned about sukkha-vipassaka arhat. Two types, right? So we can say samatha yanika, vipassana yanika, we can say two. Samatha yanika means based on samatha jhana, we practice vipassana, attaining jhana, attaining path and fruition knowledge. So vipassana means just starting from 4 elements, then go to vipassana, attain arhatship, right? Actually, there are many sutta. Even in Yogananda Sutta, you can also find similar statements, right? So for about the name of arhat, I cannot remember. There are many arhat like this. Okay.
It means that they can attain enlightenment without attaining jhana.
Sure, possible.
Yes,
As a concentration you can do. Okay.
Sayadaw.
As a concentration also one. Okay, one more of them. Actually, in this retreat, I didn't talk about 7 purification, but I have already talked about 7 purification 2 times already. Right? The first year in this retreat, I have to talk about Rathavanida Sutta, about 7 purification. So last year also, I talked about 7 purification briefly, because on this year I didn't use the same topic. Okay.
So
7 purification means the first one is purification of morality. Chitta Visuddhi. Sorry, morality means because Sila Visuddhi, right? Sila Visuddhi. This one is very clear. Okay, number 2, Chitta Visuddhi. Purifications of mind. Okay. This also called as a concentration and absorption concentration. Okay, another name of Chitta Visuddhi. Okay. In the screen is possible to show the slides. Sorry, be there fine, Kaviya. Can you see? Cannot see that? Can you see? Not yet. Okay.
This slide. We need to check.
Why it doesn't work?
Need to switch. Switch.
So do not other screen.
Yeah, that's sweet. Can you open it again?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, transfer to the new screen.
Cannot see.
Almost,
Almost okay. Okay.
yes.
Okay, now.
If you can see. Can you get it over?
How to do?
Yeah.
There already.
Please already. Yeah.
But the one I cannot see. Okay.
The duplicate.
Huh?
You can
Duplicate.
duplicate
The
screen.
screen.
To the screen. Where to go? Here.
Check a little bit.
Display.
display. Okay, duplicate. Extend display, okay. Duplicate. You can see, right?
It's already like that.
Already there, okay. Okay.
Just show that to
Okay, it will be easier, right?
It's easier.
It will be easier. Let me go and check. Oh yeah, and key seven purification. Okay, let me search. Okay. Okay. These are purification. It will be easier for you, right? Okay. Then you can see. I don't need to say many things. Okay? Right? Okay. You're gonna see. Okay, I will close up. Sorry. Can you see now? So that means as a Sila-visuddhi, the morality is very clear, right? For Sila-visuddhi, it can be asset concentration, it also can be absorption concentration. Right? Then another is Ditthi-visuddhi, is nama-rupa parichera jnana, discerning nama-rupa. Then next one, 4. Kankha-udarana-visuddhi. That means purification of overcoming doubt, pratyabhrika jnana, discerning dependent origination. Number 5. Magga-nana-visuddhi, samasana means anicca dukkha anatta. So the first 4, we don't do anicca dukkha anatta. We're going to do anicca dukkha anatta yet. Number 5 is very beginning of anicca dukkha anatta. Okay? Samasana means contemplating. Also Udaya Daruna means we may see impurity of inside knowledge at the time. We may experience impurity inside knowledge at the time. This is called Udaya Daruna. Overcoming this, it will be Udaya higher, mature Udaya. It will be number 6. Patipada Dasana-visuddhi. You can also compare 7 purifications and the practice. Okay, it will be easier, right? No?
Yes, Sayadaw, is still one thing popping up in my mind. As far as I remember, last time Sayadaw mentioned that in commentary or mentioned without jhana, there is no kanika samadhi.
Sure.
So for those who practice the mere vipassana only, how can they have some kind of kanika samadhi to see the ultimate truth?
Okay, there was another condition, right? Asset concentration. If we say asset concentration, it will be equal to first jhana. The concentration quality will be equal to first jhana. Okay, for example, upachara means neighborhood. If there's a house, there's a neighbor. Close to the house, right? Enclosure, we can say, right? So similarly, upachara is close to jhana. That means they are almost reached jhana, that level. That's why they also have kanika samadhi. Okay?
Thank you, Sayadaw. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, now? Oh, okay, now. 9 o'clock, right? Okay, now we can share. Idame bunyam asawakaya waham hodu. Idame bunyam nibbanasa bhajeo hodu. Mama bunya bhagam savasatana bhajemi te sabe me sama bunya bhagam lavandu sadhu sadhu sadhu.